it's not teams are coming to Old Trafford and opening us up and tactically breaking us down. I think anybody who was at the game against Brighton, it was a 50-50 game. It could have gone either way, and we gave them a goal early on, which we knew we had to stop. We spoke about it in the pre-match. So we've got to stop giving away that first goal. That's the first and foremost.
We'll get back to Harry Maguire in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And also, if you've got something to say, if there's something bubbling up inside of you, if you think I'm talking rubbish, as always, put it in the comments. I read all of the comments. And in this video, we're going to be listening to Harry Maguire talking pre-match before the Glasgow Rangers game. And he says some very interesting things. So stick around for after the clip. I'm going to be giving my thoughts on what our former captain, Harry Maguire, has got to say. Here's Harry.
And Harry, how does that land in the dressing room when you hear your manager describe the team as possibly the worst in the club's history?
No, I think as players, obviously after the game, we was really frustrated, disappointed. Coming off the back of a good away performance and then beating Southampton, going into the game, we was confident and we felt like we had the belief that we can go and beat Brighton, and ultimately we didn't perform well enough on the day. So we've got to look at ourselves. We've got to take responsibility on ourselves. And as an individual, that's what I do. I go home and think about how I can help this team improve and get back to where we want to get back to, and that's challenging a lot higher than we are in the league. So for me, it's about us players just taking responsibility on ourselves and improving individually, which will help the team improve.
Harry, you've played quite well recently. I know things haven't been going so well for the team, but the manager said last week you're a leader again. Do you feel as though it has benefited you not being the captain of the club? Because, as you said recently, your form over the past 18 months has been quite consistent.
No, I wouldn't put it down to that, to be honest. Whether I'm captain or not, I do see myself as a leader in this group of players. I'm experienced now. I've been at the club over 5 years, and I know that in times when you play for this club, that there's so many ups and downs, and every game that you lose, there's a lot of scrutiny on the players, and players get targeted, and I think that's part and parcel of playing for this club. You've got to accept and take the responsibility on. And I think, look, I look at previous players, and I spoke about this before, the likes of players like Wayne Rooney and David Beckham. They had large amount of scrutiny on them, and they was world-class players. So if it can happen to them, it can happen to anybody, and it's part and parcel of playing for this club. And listen, playing for this club's a huge privilege and a huge honour, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Just regarding that scrutiny, I mean, Joshua Zirkzee had some dreadful stick a few weeks ago, and he's played well since. Did you ever speak to him because you've been through similar experiences at times?
No, I sent him a message privately after the game. But listen, Josh is a good player. You don't play for this club if you're not a good player. He's got to bring that belief out and that confidence out in himself. And I always say in football, there's always another game, and there's always a next opportunity. And with Josh obviously coming on against Arsenal, he really changed the game for us. And then to score that winning penalty, probably give him a lot of confidence and belief that he belongs at this club. So the fans have been brilliant with him. We have amazing fans, and they stick with us through thick and thin, and when times are tough, they really get behind you and support you. And I felt that, and Josh, I'm sure, would have been feeling that over the recent weeks. But it's not really about individuals, it's more about as a team. We're disappointed as a team. We want to get higher in the Premier League and start challenging at the top end of it. And this season, ultimately, we haven't been good enough.
Son.
Harry, can you explain, you say all the players are good players, and clearly they are, the top-end Premier League players in theory, but you're not, as a team at the moment, a top-end Premier League team or playing anything like it. Can you explain why that happened?
If I could explain it, I think we'd change it straight away. I think, like you said, we've got players who's played numerous games internationally, won lots of trophies in club football. But at the moment, we're not playing well enough as a team, and the league table shows that. So I can only keep going on about it. We've got to take responsibility on as players. We've got to stop looking for excuses and blaming things. And It's really important that as an individual, you improve yourself, you come into training, you give absolute everything, and that's only what we can do. It's not teams that come into Old Trafford and opening us up and tactically breaking us down. I think anybody who was at the game against Brighton, it was a 50-50 game. It could have gone either way, and we gave them a goal early on, which we knew we had to stop. We spoke about it in the pre-match. So we've got to stop giving away that first goal. That's the first and foremost thing. I think the first goal against Nottingham Forest, against Bournemouth, was a set play. The first goal against Southampton was a set play. So these aren't things that what are tactically a problem. These are things that you've got to go into the game and be focused and mentally ready to go and win a football matches. And football matches are sometimes defined on small margins, and at the moment we're not getting them small margins because we're not mentally focused enough to make sure that they go our way. So we know things can turn, and like the boss has said, tomorrow's an opportunity for our players to go out there, put on a performance and get the win, and then go into Sunday. But yeah, of course, we take each game as it comes, starting with tomorrow, and tomorrow's another opportunity for us to make sure that we move on from Brighton and put things right. No, I think we expect a tough game. We know they're going to come here and give everything. They're going to be followed with great support. And I think they've done extremely well in the competition. So, no, we expect a tough game, but I think our focus on ourselves, making sure that we perform on the back of a bad defeat at the weekend, and we'll go there with confidence that we can perform and get the 3 points.
I really like Harry Maguire. I've got a lot of respect for the guy, because there was a time when he was a meme. He was an absolute joke online as being one of the worst players that's ever played for Manchester United or in the Premier League, and he's the biggest waste of money and all that nonsense. And it was all the result of the dreaded Manchester United microscope. And that's what happens, especially because Manchester United tend to overpay for players. And, you know, to be fair, Harry Maguire was bought for a lot of money, and I wouldn't necessarily say he was worth that amount of money. Nothing to do with Harry necessarily, because he didn't pay the money. But it's just the fact that Manchester United, whenever they buy a player, they tend to get overcharged by about 20%. But that's not Harry Maguire's fault. But whenever Harry Maguire for as long as Harry Maguire has played for Manchester United, he's always put the effort in, and he always seems to have had the right attitude at United. And, you know, I really like the player, and it's really nice to see that he's in a nice little run of form at the moment, and he's proven a lot of people wrong, and he's been quite good for a while now, I would say. And yeah, he's a really good example to young aspiring footballers, because, you know, to be fair, he's not the most athletically gifted player, but he reminds me a little bit of Gary Neville in that he's got a little bit of talent, but he's working his backside off to make the most of what talent he's got and what opportunities he has as a footballer. And I really like what he said there in the press conference. He says that it's a privilege to play for Manchester United, and I like hearing things like that. Because, yeah, it is a privilege to play for Manchester United, because you're playing in front of 75,000 fans every other week. You're playing against some of the biggest teams in the world for one of the biggest teams in the world, and you're getting paid handsomely to play for them as well. So I like to hear that. And his actions seem to suggest that he genuinely believes that, unlike, say, Marcus Rashford, who says, oh, his loyalty's always at Man United, blah, blah, blah. But then when he's on the pitch, he's just moping about. So Harry's the opposite to that. And I think there's a lot of fans that at Old Trafford, well, there are a lot of fans at Old Trafford that really respect him. He got a standing ovation, or he got a round of applause, should I say, in the last game. So it was nice to see that. And the question there that was posed to him about not being the captain, has it taken a bit of pressure off, blah, blah, blah. Again, some of these questions that they get asked, I mean, it's almost as if it's a backhanded insult. It's like they're kind of saying, well, you couldn't handle being a captain, so that's why now you're playing really well. It's like, shut up, mate. Good grief. But I liked his answer because it harks back to the Alex Ferguson days. You know, where they used to talk about Roy Keane, you know, being, you know, an instrumental captain. But everyone in that, say, 99 team could have, every player that played in that 1999 starting 11 could have been a captain, could have worn the armband, and they'd have done well. There were 11 captains on the pitch. And I like what he said there, Harry Maguire. It's almost as if he's saying he doesn't need the armband to play like a captain, because all of the players need to take personal responsibility, as he says, in helping the club move forward. So he's saying all the right things there. And he's sounding like a captain, which is the point he's trying to make. And he makes a good observation there that, you know, in some of these games, they're giving away the first goal and then all of a sudden they're on the back foot. And, you know, it's the tiny details that the team's missing out on, and they need to be mentally prepared to go into some of these games to win them. And yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Because I've said it time and time again on other videos. It's easy to get motivated when you're the underdog and you're playing against, you know, a team that's, you know, supposed to be better than you, like Liverpool, say. So you're a lot more focused. But when you're playing against teams where you're the favourite, that's a different mindset. It's almost as if that's the winning mindset. That is the winning mindset. It's being mentally prepared, being mentally focused, knowing that you're going to go into this game and you are going to win, and you are going to win well. And that's how you beat the smaller teams. But if you go into the smaller teams with a tiny bit of complacency, they're going to be up for it, they're going to be on point, and they're going to take advantage of your complacency. So Harry Maguire is absolutely spot on with that assessment. So, yeah, I think that was a good press conference from Harry Maguire. He's got the absolute right attitude, and I want to see him in the starting 11 more often because he's played really well lately. But what do you guys think? What do you think of Harry Maguire? Is he a Manchester United player? Do you think he's still captain material? Would you like to see him still wear the armband? Is he a better captain than Bruno Fernandes? Thoughts in the comments. As always, I really appreciate people who engage with my videos. If you've come this far in the video, you're clearly interested in what I've got to say. So because of that, I want to read about what you're thinking. So please, everything in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.